Hmm. You know, it is my opinion that people who make art are broken in some way. And sometimes broken people want or need, really, they need to express that brokenness in some way. Whether they need to write it down, whether they need to sing about it, whether they need to paint about it, build something about it. Um, it's just like an innate thing. Like everything manifests, everything that we're dealing with and that we feel manifests itself in some way in real life. It goes somewhere, you know. I think there are those few people. There's very few people who it stays in their heads, and I think those people probably are some of the most dangerous people because emotion, passion needs somewhere to go. You know, I read a book years ago. I think it's called "Ain't No River." Um, the author's name is Sharon something. I'll put a link to it actually in the description of this video. But one thing I can remember from this book, I read this book as, I don't know, maybe as a teenager or in college or something. And one thing that I remember from that book is it said exactly that passion needs somewhere to go. You know, like a river, like a river takes things from one place and takes them somewhere else. You know, as opposed to a lake. You know, and so that's artistry for me, is taking something that's real to you and doing something with it, putting it somewhere. And the medium of that is intentional and special, and what it creates is usually beautiful, even if it's just beautiful to us. So that's my theory on artists, how one becomes artists, why they become artists, whether they're becoming an artist intentionally or inadvertently without even thinking, you know. And it's also why I hate when people call themselves artists, but you know they haven't put anything on the line. I hate that shit. Like, if you haven't put yourself on the line, put your real feelings, emotions on the line, your heart on the line, like, you can't call yourself an artist. You know, a lot of, you know, you just can't. So stop trying to take that from us. When you put something on the line, then you call yourself an artist, and create something, then you call yourself an artist. Till then, you're just riding off of an industry that really should belong only to artists. I'm gonna say that. But anyway, I wanted to say something about that. I feel like a lot of people don't understand artists need and desire to need to heal. And a lot of times artists aren't doing the work, at least not primarily for things like money or fame. Usually the first reason is they are wanting and needing some kind of healing or relief from pain. And so what I don't hear talked about a lot is, you know, in today's world, there's a lot of conversation about mental health and healing and all of that, but I very rarely hear anything about how artists and how hard it is to be an artist and how tortured artists often are, how they need healing. And I wish that there were more resources and models out there to show how that's specifically designed to show how artists can heal themselves while making their art. So a lot of times we self-destruct while making our art. And something that I have been really intrigued by in my life's journey is how can we make the art that our soul and our spirit is forcing us really to make, because that's another distinction that I feel like artists have versus non-artists, people who call themselves artists, is a lot of times we're not doing it because we just want to. Our soul is making us create this art. Like, no matter where we would be living, no matter how our lives look, whether we're living comfortable lives or not, it's like the thing about art is like it's a compulsion, and in a lot of cases it's involuntary, and so it's something that our soul is needing to release or express. And there's a lot of artists who don't want to be artists, but they can't get away from it. It's innate to express ourselves in certain ways. And so when you think of the stuff that you have to deal with as an artist, the things you have to confront, the things you have to feel, the things you have to kind of like parse your way through, it's no wonder that a lot of artists meet where some artists meet at the end. I think there needs to be more support for artists as they are making their way through. I think there needs to be more I guess world building is what I want to say, where artists know they have a space to confront what they need to confront, create what they need to create, but not be taken down with it mentally, spiritually, psychologically. Artists need more support, I think. And I also think that society is too comfortable sacrificing artists, but we give too much to society. And it's been like that since the beginning of time. We give too much to society, and we're not treated nowhere near what we deserve, and we end up sacrificing ourselves because of it, because of living in a world like that. And so I've spent the last few years, because of my own struggles, choosing this artist life, which I partially feel like it chose me, I think even if I had done something more practical, like maybe be a doctor or something, I still would have been artistically expressing myself some kind of way. I know I would have, because my soul would have required it, you know. But healing for the artist so that they can make their art safely, and in a space that's protected and healthy is a big topic in my head, and has been for some years, because I struggled so much trying to find that space, that safe space, that protected space, that healthy space that I can create without literally sacrificing my life, sacrificing my sanity, you know, sacrificing my mental and spiritual well-being. And so what do these spaces look like? What do they need to look like is my question, you know. I think I'm still trying to figure that out. And I think that's a good question. How can the artist create art without sacrificing themselves in the process? That's the question. And I want to hear your answers to that. Yeah. The Artist Temple.